The following is for fun and educational purposes only, so please use your judgment before we start. This is the exact federal courtroom testimony of Sean Diddy's trial, as reported by the Inner City Press. No one had anticipated his appearance. The court had already heard from Cassie, Will Smith, and Monique and others, but when Ice Cube entered the room, everything changed. A man who had built his reputation by never giving up now found himself confronting the system he had once attempted to navigate and now walks right through it. Cube wasn't there for attention or fame. He was there to testify, and the documents he brought with him, names of the voice recordings and the relationships established, the whole courtroom is frozen. This was no longer just about Diddy. Rather, it was about an industry, an underground system of control, manipulation, and exploitation supported by the very people we've been taught to worship the stories about Jamie Foxx, Oprah Winfrey, Quincy Jones, and others. It was supposed to be just another procedural day, with reporters shuffled through paperwork and cameras outside the courthouse buzzing. Diddy's legal team adjusted their ties and pretended to be calm as the walls quietly collapsed around them. But then the doors opened and Ice Cube entered, walking through the room with a manila folder in his hand, no entourage, and no press statement. For this moment, the whispers began right away. Some jurors sat up straight, and the judge even leaned back in his chair as if he wasn't sure what was going to happen. Diddy didn't even look up at first, but when he did, the color left his face. I wasn't called Cube, so I asked to speak, and the judge nodded. There was something about his steady, heavy voice that didn't sound prepared. Rather, it sounded like testimony that had been simmering beneath the surface of hip-hop for 30 years. His first statement was, "Some of y'all didn't realize I'm not part of the club, and that's what pissed them off." The courtroom went silent, and Cube didn't talk like a rapper. He didn't speak as an actor. Instead, he spoke as a man who had endured the system, watched others fall into it, and ultimately made the decision to tear everything off. He started with the club, where no one knows who the insiders are, the gatekeepers, the people who smile on camera, and who control everything behind the curtain. They don't want you in because they like you, Cube said, because they want you in so they can control you. When you say no, that's when they begin with the whispers, the canceled meeting, the fake scandal, the calls, and the bad press. The entire courtroom hung on every word Cube said that he had witnessed it repeatedly. Good people, real artists, and a taste of the kingdom were brought in. And then he told Neil, they want you to sign the paper, they want you to play the part, and if you don't, they make sure you don't work again. He made it clear that Diddy wasn't just in the club, he was running it. He paused when the judge asked if he needed a break. Cube shook his head, then turned back to the jury and asked, "You want to know why I'm here?" You could hear the reporter's pens halt as he stated, "I respect Jamie Foxx because they tried to break a man." The courtroom began as usual, with the appearance of friendliness, the open invitations, the parties, and the phone calls from strangers you never imagined would have your number, according to the altered Cube. When they circled, first it's flattery, Cube remarked, then it's favors, then it's control. James was a rising artist with unequaled energy. They bring you in like family, and if you play along, they call you brilliant, but if you don't, he told the jury, letting the silence answer. He also testified about the notorious basketball parties, the no-phones policy, the black subs, and the odd guests. It wasn't just basketball, he said. Jamie played it cool, laughed it off, stayed polite, but he never fully gave in, he continued, referring to the test they were using to determine who would comply, who would question, and who would be protected. And the rumors began. He was suddenly too difficult. His health became a question, and he stopped making headlines but appeared in gossip blogs. Cube claimed that the 2023 medical emergency wasn't a coincidence, but rather a warning shot disguised as a complication, and that his circle didn't just throw parties. They built archives, cameras, and footage of moments you weren't aware were being recorded. Once they had it, they kept it and used it, Cube said. Told the jury that he had once been summoned by Jamie following a bizarre incident. He didn't elaborate, but he said that Fox was shaken and said, "Cube, I can't talk about it, but I can't unsee it either." If the audience wasn't already in disbelief, they were now since Cub's next name was Oprah. He clarified that there were more layers to this, saying that immediately before the Oscar hype, right after Ray, and at the height of Jamie's ascent, she received a quiet phone call.